Day 12. Your ship is sitting still, and it is costing you $100,000 today. This doesn't make sense. You are in Athens. Your ship is 2,000 miles away. Your daily cost, $100,000. That is $4,000 an hour. That is $70 a minute. That is right now, while you read this sentence, another $70 gone. The payment was declined because the reserve margin your bank requires for vessels in conflict zones has been frozen. The money is yours. It is also unavailable. That is the specific cruelty of this situation. 12 days, $100,000 each. $1,200,000 so far. Day 1, you thought a week. Day 5, you thought maybe 2. Day 12, you have stopped predicting. You have started calculating. You are not just a ship owner right now. You are a gambler, a hostage negotiator, a mathematician. And every morning you wake up and check the news, praying you didn't lose another ship overnight. 700 tankers clustered on both sides of the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, 3 were allowed to pass. 3 out of 700. You checked the AIS tracking map at 2 a.m. You know this number because you cannot sleep. You know the exact position of every ship. You know which ones moved. Yours did not. Your crew is 20 people on that ship for 12 days without moving. They have heard about the attacks, 16 vessels hit, 3 crew members killed, real people with families who did not come home. Your sailors are asking, "Boss, what is the plan?" You have been telling them to wait. You're running out of things to say. And this morning, day 12, your broker called. Iran is offering something. They call it safe passage, $2 million per tanker. You can move for a price. You have 24 hours to decide. $2 million or $100,000 a day, indefinitely, with no end in sight. That is your morning. That is where we begin. Your father started this company in 1965. 1 tanker, small, old, bought with borrowed money and a handshake and the conviction that the world would always need ships. He taught you everything: the routes, the contracts, the weather, the politics of ports. Shipping is gambling, he used to say. But if you know the table, the house doesn't always win. You took over in 1995, grew the fleet to 7 ships, survived the 2008 crash, survived COVID. You thought you had seen the worst the world could do to a shipping business. You were wrong. The conflict escalated in stages, each pushing the risk higher, the lanes narrower, the insurance premiums steeper. Your ship had just delivered cargo to Dubai, heading back to Europe. Routine, a route you had sailed 40 times. Then the strait closed. Not officially, not by declaration, just no captain with any choice would sail through it. And yours had no choice. She was already inside. Your charterers invoked the Restraint of Princes Clause, 200 years old, a maritime law from the age of actual kings. If a sovereign authority blocks passage, the charterer is not liable for delay. Translation: you pay. Your lawyer confirmed it on day 3. $100,000 a day in demurrage, plus fuel, plus crew salaries, plus war risk insurance, tripled the moment the first vessel hit the first vessel. You did not create this situation, but you own it. Then came the offers, the intermediaries, the shadow fleet operators, and then the offer that made the least sense and the most sense simultaneously. Iran's corridor. $2 million per tanker. They will protect you from themselves. You learn about the shadow fleet. Tankers sailing dark, transponders off, no record. some making $500,000 per transit, others at the bottom of the Gulf. You learn about the Greek tycoons running the strait, making millions while the rest of the industry holds its breath. And now you have the information, all of it. 4 options. Each has a cost. Each has a consequence. Each has a version of you on the other side of it that you will have to become. Which one do you eliminate first? Let's do the math on each option. Not because math is the only thing that matters. It isn't. But you cannot make a clear moral decision until you understand the financial one. The two are not separate. They are the same decision, wearing different faces. Option 1. Keep waiting. Today's cost, $100,000. After 30 days, $3 million. After 60, $6 million. After 90, $9 million. The price of a new small vessel, burned to keep an old one sitting still. But the hidden cost is larger. Your cargo is perishable, gone. Your customers have invoked their own penalty clauses. Your reputation, built over 30 years, is being quietly revised in every boardroom that ships through these waters. Option 2. Pay Iran $2 million. 20 days of demurrage avoided, if the conflict lasts that long. But this option carries costs the spreadsheet cannot hold. You are paying the regime that caused the blockage, legitimizing an extortion structure that, if enough owners comply, becomes the permanent business model of the strait, and doing something that certain governments may classify as a sanctionable transaction. Your lawyer is not sure. That uncertainty alone has a price. Option 3. Run the strait. Armed guards, $50,000 per voyage. Crew at double pay, $20,000 per person. If you make it, freedom. Up to $500,000 per day at current war risk rates. If you don't, a $100 million ship. 20 people. No insurance once the transponder goes dark. And a news alert on your phone that shows you what "if you don't" looks like. Option 4. Sell. You look it up. 60 cents on the dollar. 60 million for a $100 million ship. And as you read the offer, you check your wallet, not the company account, your personal wallet, the one your wife transfers the household budget into every month. A $40 million loss on the ship, and the household budget still operates on the same transfer it has operated on for 12 years. Shipping empire or not, the mortgage doesn't know about the Strait of Hormuz. Rent is due next week. That part hasn't changed. You call your wife. She asks, "Are we going to be okay?" You say yes, the way you have said it for 32 years when the answer was uncertain. She says, "Come home at a reasonable hour." She knows. She always knows. You open the crew file. Not the HR file, the personal one. Photos, names, hometowns. Your captain, 30 years at sea. Your engineer, father of 4, sends his salary home. Your youngest deckhand, 23 years old, first voyage with your fleet. He asked you last week if everything was going to be all right. You told him yes. You close the file. You stare at the desk. You do not move. They are not numbers. That is the thing you keep having to remind yourself. They are not numbers. You hear about him through the industry forums. Greek shipping magnate, 75 years old, 50 years in the business. While you and 696 other owners are waiting, he is moving. His tankers are transiting the strait, running dark, paying crew double, hiring armed escorts, making millions while the rest of the industry holds its breath. You watch a clip from a shipping conference. A reporter asks him, "Aren't you afraid?" He laughs. The laugh of someone who has seen enough to know that fear is a variable, not a constant. Of course I'm afraid. I'm always afraid. But I'm more afraid of going broke than I am of any missile. He is right from where he is standing. He is running 3 tankers, each earning up to $500,000 per day. 3 tankers, $1.5 million per day, while you drain $100,000 per day for 1 ship. In 30 days at his rate, $45 million, before expenses, before losses. You call your broker. He can afford to lose 1. You ask what that means. His fleet is 60 ships, loses 1, less than 2%. You lose 1, 30% of everything you have. He can self-insure the risk. You cannot. That's the difference between what he is and what you are. You hang up. Nothing changed. Except everything.
Here is what that broker was actually explaining. There is a difference between being rich and being wealthy in the context of risk. Rich means you have money. Wealthy means you have enough that losing some does not end you. The size of a risk you can survive is determined not by your courage, but by the size of your buffer. He has a 60-ship buffer. You have a 7-ship buffer. Same ocean, completely different exposure. And then you hear the other stories. The owner who ran the strait and the tanker didn't arrive. The crew that sent a final radio message and went silent. The owner with a handful of ships and a father's legacy, now in a legal battle with insurers, charterers, families of crew who did not come home. Those stories don't get conference clips. You think about running. You have thought about it every night since day 5. You tell yourself you are different. You tell yourself you are smarter. You will pick the safest window, watch the timing. And then you see the news alert again, still on the phone. The same corridor, the same timing you were calculating. You tell yourself you would have done it differently, but you already know how this usually ends when you start convincing yourself you're the exception. You sit at your desk, crew file, AIS map, phone with alert, 4 coffee cups. Athens is waking up. People are buying coffee, living ordinary lives. You used to have an ordinary life.
Day 15. Awake for 36 hours, not continuously, in 2-hour fragments, between calls, between news checks, between moments you almost decide and then don't. 14 cups since yesterday. You drank 8. The rest went cold. Your captain calls. 30 years at sea. He does not panic. Boss, my crew is asking. They want to know the plan. Not the situation. They know the situation. The plan. You tell him 6 hours. He says, yes, sir. He believes you have a plan. You do not have a plan. You have a decision to start making. You take the piece of paper, 4 options. You draw a line through option 1, waiting. The math does not reach a survivable number. The cargo is gone. The customers are leaving. Waiting is a slow version of the worst option. You draw a line through option 4, selling. You think about your father's photo on the wall. You are aware this is not rational, but you are 60 years old, and this company is 60 years old, and you are not the man who sells his father's company to a distressed asset buyer because the math told him to. If the math wins that completely, you have already lost something you cannot buy back. 2 options remain. Pay Iran $2 million, or run the strait. His 60 ships, your 7. The crew file on the desk. The engineer with 4 children. The 23-year-old. Your captain, waiting for a callback. You are not a coward. You are not afraid of risk. You have made decisions in this industry that would frighten people who have never left an office. But there is a difference, a specific, uncrossable difference between risking money and risking people. No freight, no cargo, no quarterly result, no amount of money is worth a phone call to a widow. Not at 60, not with the crew file on the desk. not with that news alert still on your phone. You pick up the phone. You call the broker. Your hand is steady, steadier than it has been in 15 days. 10 seconds. Tell Iran we'll pay. 5 seconds. 2 million per ship. 3 ships. 6 million total. Guaranteed passage. No attacks. And I want it in writing, whatever that means from them. The broker calls back in 2 hours. They agree. 6 million total for 3 ships. 48-hour window. You write it down. $6 million. Pencil on paper. The worst number you have ever voluntarily committed to. It is also, in some specific and unmistakable way, the right number. You open your banking platform. You enter the wire details. $6 million. You hover over the confirm button, and for a moment, one thought arrives, quiet and specific. If you're wrong about this, if they take the money and do nothing, this disappears. The buffer your father built, gone. A breath. Then, you click. You call your captain. We're moving. 48 hours. Prepare the crew. He doesn't ask how. He doesn't ask why. He says, "Yes, sir." 2 words. The same 2 words he said when you told him to wait. They sound different now, like the beginning of something, instead of the continuation of nothing.
3 days later, your ships pass through the corridor near Larik Island. Iranian patrol boats appear on the AIS map and escort them. No missiles, no boarding, no harassment. Just business. The most expensive, morally compromising, logistically absurd business transaction of your career. But the ships move. You calculate the total. 6 million to Iran. 1.5 million in demurrage over 15 days. 500,000 in ruined cargo, war risk surcharges, crew overtime, legal consultations. Total loss, approximately $8 million. The worst quarter in 60 years of this company. You think about the man who ran. He made millions in the same 15 days you lost 8 million. He is, by every financial measure, the winner. You are the cautionary tale. And your crew is alive. His crew is at risk every voyage. There is no accounting standard for that difference. No column on the balance sheet for cost avoided by choosing not to risk people. But you know the number. It is incalculable, and it is the only number that matters. That was the first time in 30 years of doing exactly what your father taught you, that you made a decision you cannot fully defend on a spreadsheet, and felt completely certain it was right. Sometimes the right decision feels wrong in every number, and right in every other way. The Strait didn't change who you are. It showed you who you already were. Be honest. $6 million to Iran, or run the Strait with the crew? What would you have done? Day 12. You woke up to a payment declined. A ship sitting still, a number that didn't make sense. Tomorrow, you'll wake up again. Day 13 for someone else. Somewhere in the Gulf, a ship that isn't yours is sitting still, and its owner is doing exactly what you did, starting to calculate. What would you have done?